Hi, my name is Steven and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be talking to you about why, asking the 5 whys to get down to the root of the problem. So one of the best tools that I've used throughout my life is asking myself 5 whys if I have a situation where I need to answer a question. And this could be an immensely powerful tool to get to the root of the problem. This was first introduced to me as a failure analysis tool in my engineering class. This was a basic engineering method to get to the root or core of the problem, and eventually find a solution to the problem once you get to the root core. So outside of engineering, I really found this tool to be useful in personal growth as well. This tool really allows me to dig down deep into myself and ask myself, what are the core motivations of why I do what I do? It really helped me understand why I do certain things and what are the true motivations behind it. Sometimes it's straightforward, other times it's really complicated. And really understanding why you do the things you do is really the key linchpin of personal growth. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why 5 whys are useful, some of the examples from my own personal experience, and some of the tips I have for going through the 5 whys. And before we start, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell, share with your friends if you found this content to be useful. And here we go. So why? Here's the background for 5 whys. So 5 whys, it's defined as an iterative interrogation technique used to explore the cause and effect relationships underlying a particular problem. So to put it in the simplest terms, you ask yourself a broad question that you want answered, and you ask 5 whys after it. It's that simple. It's like the curiosity of a child when they keep asking you, why is it this? Why is it that? It just makes you go deeper into a problem statement. The power of this technique or method is really to get you to think deeper. Most people have a very surface level understanding of why they do what they do. The motivations aren't really clearly understood. But if we keep digging through this process, we can find the true motivations of why people do what they do. And that helps us understand their core and true motivations for doing something. This is also helpful if we want to understand ourselves at a deeper level. And once we understand why we do what we do, we can choose to change it if we so desire. So as we're asking the questions of 5 whys, not all of the answers are going to be logical or straightforward. Some of it can be really confusing. But if you do this in different facets of your life, you can find that the answers you get are very enlightening. You can learn a lot about yourself and other people through this method. So I'm going to start out with an example question, and I'm going to keep digging to see what the true core problem is. So the starting question or statement, I'm feeling angry. Why is that? Because I was late to work. Well, why? Well, because I didn't get enough sleep the night before. Well, why didn't you get enough sleep the night before? Well, because I was playing video games to distract myself. Well, why were you distracting yourself? Because my partner and I had a fight. So after drilling down a bit, we realized that the person was angry because he and his partner had a fight the night before. So this really showcases the powerfulness of this particular tool. And you can even go deeper in this method to find out the root cause of why he and his partner were fighting. Let's explore that. So why did you fight with your partner? Well, because I bought something and I didn't tell my partner that I bought it, and we had a fight over it. So then why did you buy something without telling her? Because I really wanted this product, and this product made me feel happier. So why did you want to feel happier? So my partner is not making me feel happy, so I went out and bought this product. So why is your partner not making you feel happy? Because I don't think we're meant to be together. So why don't you think you're meant to be together? Because our personalities don't match. Well, why don't they match? Because when we're dating, I didn't think we were a good match, but I didn't want to feel lonely. After 12 whys, you finally found the answer. A simple bad angry day turned into the realization that he picked the wrong partner for himself, and that he knew there were problems right from the beginning, but he chose to ignore it because he wanted to alleviate his loneliness. This is an example of how powerful the tool is, because you can start from a surface level problem and get to a really core deep-seated issue. Going through this system or method for different parts of your life can really help tackle the biggest issues and situations that you have. But it requires a lot of honesty and knowledge about yourself. This is not an exercise for the weak. So here are some examples from my own life where I used 5 whys. So why did I move to Seattle? Because I moved for a job. Why? I wanted more money. Why did you want more money? Because I wanted more things, and money provides me with safety. Well, why do you want safety? Because I didn't feel like my hometown of LA provided me with that. Why didn't it provide you with that? Because I really felt that I didn't have a strong support network of family and friends in LA that I could rely on. Well, why couldn't you rely on them? Because I really felt that if I would stay in LA, I wouldn't have necessarily the support with my family, and that my family and I would argue about how I would live my life. So in this example, the reason why I moved so far away to Seattle was because I wanted to get away from my parents. I really thought that being close to my family would hinder me in making progress in my own life. I wanted the freedom away from my family. And that understanding really came from 5 whys. And that understanding wouldn't have come if I only asked myself 2 or 3 whys. Those 2 or 3 whys would end up in the surface level answer of more money and more opportunities. So for another example, why did I start YouTube? I wanted to kill some time. Why did you want to kill some time? Because I wasn't being challenged in a creative way. Well, why do you need to be creative? Because being creative is a part of me that I want to harness and cultivate for the future. Why do you want to harness and cultivate creativity? Because being creative makes me more passionate in life. Why do you want to be more passionate in life? Because I work my best when I'm passionate about something. Well, why do you want to work your best? Because during the pandemic, I lost a lot of motivation and struggled to do things that I normally would. And I needed to get myself out of that mindset and focus on something more positive and creative. And I wanted to focus on something that would relight my passion and creativity and ultimately put that energy into something else. So in this example, I really got to the core motivation of why I started this channel. Although true, YouTube was a creative outlet for me, the deeper issue was that I really wanted to get away from the negative mind space that the pandemic had on me. And this loss of motivation and struggling to do things that I normally did was really impacting me because I'm usually a motivated individual and I love to do new things. And so I really struggled to find that one thing that can keep me energized. So creating YouTube videos was a great way to focus my mind away from all the things that are happening with the pandemic. So here are my tips on how to help you going through the 5 whys. Number 1, be honest with yourself. The 5 whys really work if you're truly honest with yourself and not lying or misleading. There are many cases, including myself, where I just didn't want to admit a truth about myself. Because going through this exercise, you're going to uncover a lot of things that are uncomfortable to hear and maybe something that you completely didn't expect, but has a very negative impact. In many cases, when you're going through this exercise, you're going to stumble upon something that's really uncomfortable for you to admit or even think about. And in those cases, you have to be really careful to be honest and truthful to yourself. Try not to fight yourself when you're receiving your answer. Take some time to process it and accept it. So just like the example of a person having a bad day in the beginning, that person had to go through a lot of harsh truths in order for him to uncover the reality of the situation. But only by being truthful to himself was he able to go through the process and uncover the true source of all his pain, which is that he was lonely at the time and he chose to date this person despite the fact that their personalities might have not matched. So at the end of the day, being honest with yourself is really key and important in order for you to learn something about yourself or other people. And not only that, but if you get to the core root of the problem, you can also course correct for the long term. So number 2, process each why. Once you list all the whys, don't speed through them. Take time and listen to what each why is telling you, and really how each why connects to the others. Some whys have a simple connection, others are harder or more complex. Taking time to process the whys will help you strengthen the bonds between them and make you understand why you do the things that you do. And really, it helps you explore if that why is actually correct. Sometimes when we list a why, it may not be the actual reason. And really understanding and processing it will help you clarify if that why is right. And also, taking time to process that why helps you work out any emotions that are attached to that. Sometimes when you provide yourself an answer, that answer comes with a lot of emotional baggage, and you need time to work that through. This might be a good time to stop and process that experience before moving on to the next why. When we come across a new revelation, it is sometimes very hard for us to accept the reality. And be sure to fully listen to what that entails and what that answer is telling you about yourself. Number 3, there's always another why. The challenge when you're using this tool for the first time is even getting to the 5 whys. Sometimes you can only come up with 2 or 3 or 4. It can often be difficult because we're not in the habit of challenging our assumptions all the time. We don't usually ask ourselves, why do we do something? We just do it. So start with as many whys as you can think of and then slowly work your way down more whys. Because in the end, the more whys you can get to, the more clarity you'll have in understanding your true motivations. The ultimate goal of this tool is really to give you a key understanding about your own self and why you do the things that you do. So the further you go down, the deeper your understanding will be about yourself. Just know that the muscle gets stronger the more you use it. So if you use this tool regularly, you'll be able to answer the 5 whys faster, quicker, and deeper than before. And once you get to 5, you don't have to limit yourself to that number. You can go deeper if you want. Even though for most things 5 is enough, there are some things like the beginning example that have multiple layers for you to uncover, and so it requires more whys than 5. So those are some of my tips on how to get you through the 5 whys. It is an extremely powerful tool when used correctly. The more you dig down deeper, the more understanding and clarity you'll get about yourself and your motivations. It is certainly not an easy process. It requires extreme amount of honesty about yourselves and processing through the really hard answers that you might not want to hear. And it really takes a lot of commitment to keep asking yourselves the hard questions in order to get to the final root cause. In my life, I've used this tool frequently, and it really has helped me to understand why I do the things that I do. Some of the things that I do, I really didn't have a proper understanding until I asked myself the 5 whys. And I really hope that with this tool, you guys can use it and figure out whatever you need to figure out. And if you go through it, you can figure out a whole bunch of knowledge and wisdom about yourself. I have been completely amazed at the answers I get to some of the questions I've asked. And although some of them might be uncomfortable for me to hear, it has ultimately helped me progress in my personal development goals much quicker and faster than if I didn't understand my own true motivations. So thank you for watching. Please leave a comment down below on what you learned about yourself by using the 5 whys. And I'll see you next time.